All right, we are live. The Intrepid Adventurers. I don't think you guys ever came up with a name for your adventuring band yet, have you?
No, I
No?
don't believe we have.
Boom.
Well, the Boomers, if you will. It's been a while since our last session, and life conspired against us to have a session happen or whatever. The last time we were, if you remember correctly, the party of adventurers escorted a merchant by the name of Merrick Andoulet, who was attempting to bring a batch of fish that was spoiling on him, and he had to go through a treacherous Fool's Pass, and he had hired you to deliver him safely to the town of Enome. Although you were attacked by a group of goblins, you were able to fend those off, and he was very happy and gracious and pleased with your efforts. And not only did he pay you the money that he owed you, but he also offered to put you up for the night at the Black Sheep Inn within Enholm, a fine establishment with a private room, a private party room, and what have you. And he, after a few drinks, he let slip a few tantalizing adventure possibilities, including the caverns to the old orc caverns to the north that are supposedly still filled with monsters and treasure to be had. And also he mentioned that there was a band of brigands that are within the Penpree Forest, which is to the northwest of Enome. And somewhere deep inside there's a band of brigands that there's the price on their head. And plus there's like a whole city for you to investigate. So the evening went on, and you all eventually retired to your quarters. Some of them didn't retire to their own quarters. And unfortunately we are down one gnome barbarian today. Minx is unable to join us. So she will be spending the day with her new paramour, Merrick, and probably he'll probably be showing her the delights or what have you in the within Enholm. So you awake in the morning. You have the next 3 nights rooms paid for at the Black Sheep Inn, and yeah, you guys can discuss what you want to do and what you want to investigate.
Can I ask what the weather's like outside?
That's an excellent question. It is. This is spring. It's a little wet, and you do. It looks you kind of studied the sky a bit, and just your nature, your intuitive nature. It feels, Derek, that it's quite possible that it's going to rain later today. Not a thunderstorm or anything, but it'll definitely be a wet day.
I think that's going to put me in a good mood for the rest of the day. Thank you.
I haven't had my morning pint yet, so I just need to go get one of those somewhere.
Well, they have an excellent bar at the Black Sheep Inn. You can definitely partake there as well.
I'll go follow my brother down to the bar. I gotta make sure he doesn't get into any trouble down there. And his singing sometimes can rile up the natives.
Soothe the natives. We rock.
So can we? I know you kind of touched to it, but right now, what are our leads looking like, Lance? As far as
well, like I said, it is well known. Well, I mean, that's up to you. I mean, honestly, a GM and a player. I mean, like I said, you have an entire city to wander around in, and you could probably.
No, that's fine. I was just wondering about what we kind of had. So I'm going to write them down to keep them so that I know like our different options, and we can just kind of wander around the city and and check out things we wanna.
Well, as I said, you have the brigands to the northwest, within the forest, and of course, there's always stories that the forest is haunted, and sometimes strange lights are seen within the and rumors of cults and ne'er-do-wells up to no good within the city, and you had several people mention, like to you, the guards that you accompanied, Merrick, that you were with, and as well as the bartender, I believe, all mentioned stories of adventurers that have gone off to search for the orc caves to the north. And people don't think there's orcs in there anymore because there were, but the Duke sent a force of soldiers and they cleaned out the caves, and that was years ago. But supposedly it's still it became vacant, and they can't really burn down a cave, and so when there's a vacancy, you have a possibility of monsters and ne'er-do-wells once again inhabiting the area.
Well, I'm not the type of person that's going to put myself into peril just for fun. So look, if somebody wants to throw me some coins, my way for me to go out and do something for them, I'll be happy to listen to them. But until then, I'm just going to have my butt sitting here drinking a few pints. So if somebody wants to find me something to do, just let me know, as long as it pays well.
Let's indulge my brother a little bit. See if we can hear any. Check out this. I'm going to sit around and check out I'm going to have some milk. Check out the tavern a little bit. We'll see what some of the people are in there. If anybody wants to kind of wander around, just don't leave the vicinity. I would suggest we don't split the party and leave the vicinity of the town. Would be.
Did I hear you say you're going to split the party?
No, do not split the party. Maybe in town, but we should make a certain time. Maybe meet back here at the at the bar for some dinner.
All right.
One thing we learnt in Druid School was never split the party and never cross the stream.
Maybe somebody should have said that to Minx before. We don't know what kind of stream's going on.
Well,
Poor Minx.
Grodd is, knowing that Minx is going to be occupied, Grodd's a little bit at a loss, but he figures, knowing Minx is going to want some adventure. She's going to want to get out there and start kicking some butt. So he's gonna hang around with Derek and kind of Dogar and kind of hope that we can drum up kind of our next adventure and figure out what we need to do to get some action.
All right. Now, all of you take a look at your character sheets and go ahead and look. You should have some sort of a skill that would be like you can use diplomacy or knowledge checks, and you can roll like anything that would be. You can make a D20 roll. Like if you have a knowledge of area or like even. Or like a diplomacy check, like a diplomacy skill, you can just make a skill check like that. And we're gonna say that as you're traveling about the city, staying, having a few drinks at the Black Sheep Inn, just talking with some of the locals, maybe you'll learn. Depending on your role, maybe we'll learn. Well, very nice, Marty.
Wow.
Maybe we'll get. Holy cow! Look at this. I'm glad you're using these up.
What
I don't think Marty rolled a D20. I think he just rolled a 20.
No, but I rolled a d20.
No,
That was
wonder.
that 27 was a diplomacy check.
All right. So, Ingvi, can I actually have you roll? Jeez, what is up? Nice.
That was the most
Anthony.
awesome diplomacy check ever.
Anthony, Sargon gets thrown out of a couple of places for his ineptitude. But
I'm trying to see if I have any knowledge skill, but I actually have a 0 diploma plus 0, so let's roll.
Can we ask down in the tavern what day market day is, please?
What day is what?
Market day.
Well, the market's open every day, but it usually doesn't start rolling until around noon. when people get their different tents and shops open. All right. So as you are, excuse me, I apologize. I do have a cold, so I'm going to have to mute myself every once in a while so I don't cough too loudly in your ear. Hold on. As you are traveling about, you and you're eventually, like around 1, you guys decide, we're feeling kind of hungry. We're gonna need to like go and grab a meal, and you're kind of meandering about the bazaar and checking things out. And as you continue walking, you kind of end up in a small temple district. There's a few of the gods that you notice that are fairly prevalent in the area, and strangely, you see one for the god of healing, and you see one for the god of knowledge. But strangely, you see there is a very strange-looking temple, and you don't recognize the god offhand. It's like a strange temple. So if anybody's got knowledge religion, I want you to go ahead and roll on knowledge religion, and see if you can determine what you're looking at.
I don't.
Anyone?
You said knowledge of religion, is that what you said?
Yeah, knowledge religion. If you have knowledge history, I'll let you roll on that, but you're going to have a kind of a minus on that.
This would be under. I'm sorry. This is where I'm a total novice. Is this going to be under skills?
This would be under your skills, yes.
Okay.
Knowledge is a skill, yes.
Nope.
Yeah, I just don't see it listed under my skills tab at all.
Okay. Well, then you probably just don't have it. It's usually
Yeah.
clerics have it, and sometimes mages will. If you have knowledge history, like I said, you can roll on that, but you will have a slight minus on that.
Can I take this opportunity to say how much I love Hero Lab?
Do you like it?
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
That's
It's
what
pretty cool. The way it has everything computed, and you could, it gives you the pluses and the minuses where you don't have to cycle through all these books and stuff.
I can search for the skill and see clearly I don't have it.
All right. Does anybody have knowledge history?
Nope.
No, sir.
All right. Well,
Is there a specific deity we are talking about as well, or
you're staring at it. It's like you don't recognize it as one of the major deities that you know. I mean, you're looking at it and you're looking at the symbol, and it's a fairly large church, and you assume it's a church, because it has very multiple symbols carved on the door and on the walls and on the outside walls, and so you're assuming it is, but I mean it's just but you don't recognize the symbol.
Is there anyone around I can ask about it?
You see that there's some there's some grounds crew that are taking care of the the lawn and the shrubs or whatever that are in the lawn for this place. As you're staring at them, you realize that they look. Well, how do I even put this nicely? They look very poor. I mean, they look homeless, if you will. I mean, it's just it's one of those things where it's they have raggedy clothes and kind of open sores, and they just look kind of life has beaten them down a little bit. So,
How many are there?
there are 3 of them. They're currently working outside, and you do see there is one kind of. You almost immediately say he's like a guard, but he's not wearing a city guard outfit. He's got a chainmail and a helm on, and he has a sword at his hip, and he just seems to be leaning against the one of the close to the door, leaning against the wall of the church, and he's watching these 2 men and a woman kind of cleaning up some refuse and just doing caretaking duties basically.
Anyone got intimidate or diplomacy?
I have intimidate.
Okay. Well, I mean, so that's. I mean, it's like it's just curious. I mean, you don't. They're not beating him up or anything, and they're not like like, but it's just it does it just does look a little odd.
I'd like to ask the guard, what is this place?
All right. You approach him. He kind of looks a little rough and tumble, and he kind of looks you up and down, and he's like, can I help you?
Yeah, what is this place?
He's like, it's he's like, he kind of like looks at you again, and he's like, this is the temple. Yeah. You kind of like
The Temple
like
of...
services. The temple to the to Jambor, and you've never heard of this god before.
Can you enlighten me on the ways of Jambor?
And he's like, do I look like a priest? He's like, I'm just helping take care of the. I'm kind of like a caretaker. He's kind of like, and he's like kind of staring you up and down, and he's like, and he hasn't like put his hand on his sword or anything like that, but he's definitely, you get the impression that he's kind of annoyed with you.
Ask him the name. I'd like to ask him the name of the head priest.
You mean head priestess?
That's the lady. Yes.
Yes. Her name is Alon Kanto.
Can he still see the people cleaning up?
Yeah, they're in front of him.
Okay.
Lance, are we assuming that the dwarves are not with the rest of them? Or
I assume you guys were with.
Okay.
Like they came and gathered you and brought you in. You guys are gonna go find some lunch and just kind of check out the city.
All right. Let's I'm gonna walk over to one of the people cleaning up and say, hey, looks like a storm's rolling in, huh?
And then he's like, we got two dudes and a girl. Do you want like there's an older guy, there's a younger guy, and then there's a woman maybe in her 30s, all human.
All human.
Which one do you want to hit up?
I'll go talk to the older dude.
All right. He like kind of nods in your direction. He's like, yeah, I agree. I feel it in my bones. He says, and then the guard or caretaker kind of says, leave him to his business. And he kind of calls out to you when he sees you talking to him.
I'm just saying hi. We'll be done with him in a minute.
You're done now. You can get going.
And
there's no services right now. The temple's closed. And he kind of stops leaning against the wall, and he starts standing up and starts walking your direction.
I'll say to him, I'm finished talking when I say I'm finished talking. I have a +4 intimidation check.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
Let's get in here. Just roll the d20 and add the 4. Let's see, +4. The dice are not with me.
Yeah, he kind of like looks you up and down, and he kind of gets a little grin on his face, and now his hand does go and rest on his sword, and he said, he's like, you don't want to mess with us. You should probably get going.
So did he walk away from his post at the door?
He's like about 3 feet in from the door. Yeah.
Oh. Is it a closed door?
It is closed. Yes.
Damn it.
All right. I'm gonna go over and put my arm on my hand on Dolgar's shoulder, and tell the guard that I apologize for my friend. He had a little too much ale last night, and then I'm gonna offer one of my platinum pieces to him as a donation to the church, and.
He snatches the coin out of your hands before you even get it out of your, and he puts it in his coin pouch. He's like, yeah, I'll make sure it gets to the church.
Is there any kind of indication of the cleaning up they're doing? What kind of litter it is? Is it from a wedding, some kind of celebration, some kind of maybe cultist event, or?
It just seems like well, you could probably go pick some up if you wanted to. I mean.
Yeah, I'm going to go and pick some of it up.
Most of it is you kind of reach over and you grab a couple of pieces, and then the guard's like, well, "What are you doing? That isn't your job." You know, he starts giving you a little bit of a hard time. He's like, "Look, I need you all to get out of here. The temple's closed. The temple's closed. You need to get out of here." And one of the sheets of paper that you pick up, it's like a crumpled pieces of parchment, and you pick it up, and it's a little soiled and everything like that, but you kind of brush it off, and you look at it, and it's it looks like a bill or like something that like in present day it would be like a lost dog or something like that, something you post onto a telephone pole. But this is it's like it's like it's almost like a flyer for it's like down on your luck, don't know when your next meal is coming. Come to the Temple of Jambor. We will feed you, we will clothe you, and we will find you a better life for you. And it just you think maybe this is something like somebody came and like they crumpled it up and dropped it or whatever, and and you can see like there's a drawing of the church that you can see on that handbill, if you will.
Which of the team is closest to me? I just want to kind of whisper to them, show them the parchment and say that this kind of looks suspicious. The fact they're offering this better life, and yet the attitudes of the people around are very much stay away from us, don't go to the temple, and yet here they're trying to invite people in. I wonder if people have been going missing.
The woman is closest to you, and she's. It isn't that she's not paying attention to you or anything, but she's like closest to you, and it looks like she's got kind of a fairly full bag of refuse, and looks like she's going to be heading in soon.
Okay, I'll hand her the leaflet to put in her bag and just briefly ask her if there have been any disappearances recently.
She gets a bit of a worried look on her face and kind of looks at you and says, "Nobody said anything about disappearances. Why are you asking about that?"
I want to go walk around and see if I can see any other entrances.
That's what I was about to say.
All right.
I'll keep talking to the caretaker. Ask him, the guy that came over to tell us we were done, and I'll say, "There's no reason to get riled up. I'm going to try and keep him busy talking while my buddies are wandering." I'll say, let's see if we can settle this over a nice arm wrestle. Let's go, come have some fun. I'll
antagonistic.
Give us a minute. There's no reason to get annoyed at us.
And he kind of looks at you. He's like, and he's sitting there, and he doesn't see the other. You start walking around the grounds, and he's just sitting there. He's like, "Look, I told you to get your friends and get the hell out of here. If I have to call the city guard, I will. But I don't think you want that kind of trouble. You're obviously out from outside of the city. You don't pull any weight here. You need to get there." And he's like, "Mary, stop talking to him. Get in. Go by the door." And he's like, "You, old timer, get going. Get by the door."
And I tell him, I don't think a temple who's trying to get new people to come to it wants a reputation of sending people away that are interested in it. So unless you want us to talk far and wide about your temple, which is obviously trying to get new followers, I suggest you just speak nicely, like we're trying to speak nicely to you, to ask you about this temple.
And I feel like maybe you should just keep your nose out of our business. And as far as the temple is concerned, we don't need you. We don't need your kind. And he's like, and so he kind of like.
Well, that seems awfully racist of the temple.
And he starts escorting them to the door, and he reaches into his pocket and he's got a large key, and he unlocks the front door, and he starts like escorting them in. He kind of he goes, "Hey, we got some trouble out here," he yells inside the temple, and he turns around and he kind of stands there looking at you. Okay, so who is attempting to wander around the temple, see what they can find?
Keith and I are wandering around the temple.
Yeah, I'll stay with Grada's a little far back from Dolgar, but keeping an eye on the situation.
Yeah, I'm standing with Dolgar.
So, you can go either west or east around the temple. Which one you want to go?
Which is the easiest way around from where the guard was, so he doesn't see us walking in that direction?
That would have been east.
Okay, so heading east around.
All right. You begin walking, and you do see that there are several windows. They're all shuttered though, and you haven't seen any other doors that lead in. As you kind of follow along, I will draw an extremely crude map here, and then you can see it. So like, temple looks like this, and the door that you were at, it was right here. And so you begin walking around to the east, and this right here was the only was the door that he opened up, and now that door is standing slightly ajar. He had opened it up and escorted the people inside. You can see that there is a window here and here, and you begin walking along towards the east, and you see another window here, and these are shuttered, and you're kind of wandering around the lawn at this point. And you are well out of sight of the guard. He has not noticed your absence. Those of you who could see the guard, you can see he looks a little agitated, and he maybe even a bit of worry on his mind as well.
How high up are the windows?
Oh, they're normal. I mean, they're just like normal windows. I mean, you could if you could open it up.
I'm short. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, you'd have to like jump, but I mean, it's not unscalable if that's what you want.
How many stories high is the building?
Only one.
Mm.
However, let me just draw another crude little map here. Over here, I'm gonna pull up an object here. Over here, you can see, and this isn't exactly to scale, there's a large dome on top, and you think when you approached, you thought you could see maybe like stained glass windows up there. So, but other than that, it is all one story, everything.
All right, can I try?
I want to climb the wall right here.
All right. You're just gonna try to scale up the side. No, this is like just as a reminder. This is like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and there are like people that are walking back and forth on the street in front
of people. No.
So yeah, I mean it's and let me just make a quick roll here, just to satisfy my own curiosity here. All right. And presently, you haven't attracted any attention from anybody passing by. I mean, they're not giving you even a second look.
Let's see if I can open these shutters very carefully.
Right.
Can we listen at the shutters before we open them, Keith?
No.
No. Just smash it open.
I've got to stay in character. I've got to
part
stay in character, and I did not think of doing that. I am not the most cautious person.
And I'm with you.
All right. So, Sargon, you see him just like kind of like putting a crowbar up to the shutters.
Crowbar. I'm not going to try to pry it open.
It's the lock is on the inside. So
okay.
I mean, you
so there's not glass windows on the inside. That's all I wanted to see if I could.
Well, there probably is, but it's shuttered. So the people that are there would have to open up the window.
Okay, so they're not shuttered from the outside. They're shuttered from the inside. Okay, that's what I wanted to check.
Can I try to listen at the shuttered window, please?
Yeah, feel free. Just go ahead and add your any perception bonus you have, and make your D20 check. Oh, very nice.
At least somebody has the dice rolling.
Yeah, you hear sets of booted feet running past the window, and like they're far off. They get close and they go by you, and then they fade off in the distance.
They're running laps.
Or they're running to the front door.
Oh, that's what I figured they're doing.
Can I tell from which direction that they started from?
They sounds like they're heading. You believe. Let me just get freehand here. You believe they started from over here somewhere, and then they ran this way, and then you didn't hear them anymore. Well, you heard them and then they faded off. About 15 seconds after that, the door opens up, and you see 3 more guards come out, including one larger gentleman who looks like they're in charge. And he comes out, and he doesn't look mad, but he has a bit of a I don't want to say mischievous grin, but he has kind of a sarcastic grin on his face. And he goes, "How can I help you today?"
We're trying to get an audience with Ilan.
She's busy. You're probably going to have to come back some other time.
What time does the temple open?
It doesn't open for you. And he's still got kind of this little smile on his face.
We understood that the temple was a place for self-help and people in trouble.
And it is for people
Lost
that we
souls.
give. Yeah, and it is for people that we give the help to. I think you need to leave.
I say to Ingvi, I think it's time to find you a beer. I'm getting a little thirsty for some milk myself. Let's go a place where people actually want us.
Yeah, we don't want to leave Tam and Sargon there, right?
We'll catch you. I'm assuming they're making enough noise for us to hear them from that spot where we are. Lance?
I'm sorry, what was that?
At that window where we were listening, can we hear what's going on in the front? I'm not specifically what they're saying, but at least...
He's being the bigger guy is being pretty loud, so you can
right.
definitely hear him talking.
Then I'm going to walk back to the middle.
All right.
Just casually.
And he sees you come around the corner, and his eyes narrow a bit, but he never loses the smile on his face. He's like, it's like enjoying a little walk. He's like, it's a nice day for it.
It beats standing out front watching people pick up trash.
Just like, strange, because now I'm getting rid of some trash. Get out of here.
What say we back away, group, for a little while and discuss what's going on?
Let's go talk to some friends.
There's got to be other people around to talk to.
Nothing here. So, I mean, there's people on the street and stuff, and now you've actually, like, when this guy came out and he was kind of loud and boisterous, a few people stopped and are watching what's going on.
Are there any shops nearby? Like right
no,
in the area?
you have to walk to the bazaar, and that's where you were headed right now. So.
Maybe we can find out more about this weird place at the bazaar.
Yeah, there's definitely something going on that we need to look into here.
So, I take it you're leaving then?
We're going to step back, I reckon. Does
Okay.
anybody want to step back?
Yep.
Happy to step back.
I'm going to stay by that window for a few minutes while you guys start walking away.
All right.
So, I mean, we have friends that we can ask about, right? I mean, we can.
Well, you don't have a ton of people that you know in town. I mean, you know Merrick. That's about it.
But Merrick he's a
Engaged.
prominent merchant, correct?
Yeah, he at least pretends to be, and he says that he mentioned that he has a boss that is also, but he never told you who his boss was. He kept that information a little tight to the vest. But so you could definitely ask him. However, he and Minx are probably
Busy.
Busy gallivanting the night away, or the day away, as it is.
So, I mean, it's an interesting situation, but as of right now, we don't know if there's any reward or value in us pursuing it. So
There's no money in it for me, so
I would suggest we continue on our way to the bazaar, and if we run into any friendly souls, we can inquire about it more. Meanwhile,
merchants like money; they might give some information.
Right.
Yeah, we could just casually ask a merchant here or there.
And meanwhile, Sargon is hanging back at the temple just for a few extra minutes, correct?
Correct.
I'm gonna sit across the way from the temple, and I'll just sit there and sketch the front of the temple just to keep an eye on Sargon, make sure he doesn't get in any trouble while people are kind of wandering away, and just try and keep an eye on both him and the group as they kind of slowly walk towards the bazaar. Ingve, you gonna hang with me? Talk my ear off while I sketch this building, this temple, so I get a good idea of what the temple looks like.
Yeah, I'll hang back. I'm not into shopping anyway, so.
Hey, Roozer, you can't sleep in there. Because you should sleep in your bed. It's just because I told you to. Alright, so you make your way to the market, or the bazaar, I should say. I apologize. And it is in full swing. It is, dust fills the air from many feet walking about. You see shops selling all kinds of items and things. Whatever. If you wanted to look for something, you definitely probably could find it at somewhere. Just the last thing, my kids are down here. 1 second. Talk amongst yourself. Here, what are you doing? Are you going to bed, bud?
Mom, do you want to lay down? Nope. I'm going to put the boy in unless you want to get the hammock. Trying to get into it?
Hey, don't push. No, this isn't a swing, buddy.
Do you want to get in, Caleb? No. Okay, let's get upstairs and go to bed. Lay down. Oh, you're torn. I'm so tired.
Good night, buddy. My son's going to bed. All right, so what do you want to do in the bazaar?
I would.
I'd like to find a merchant that I might be able to get some information about this temple from.
I mean, is you just gonna pick a random merchant and
I'll pick one that looks
say,
like
hey.
he has a little bit of money, and
Right.
one that's not looks like he's doing well, and use my diplomacy to say, hey, what can you tell me about the temple?
All right. Go ahead and you choose. You go to a weapons merchant. It has a large supply of both melee weapons and bows and crossbows. And he seems he sees you coming, and he's like, oh, it's like, you were lucky you were here. I actually just got a shipment in for smaller size weapons for a man of your stature, he says. And he leads you over to show you I see you use a rapier, and he's like, look at these fine weapons here, and he starts showing you some rapiers, and you have to admit, they seem workmanlike, but there's a few that obviously are masterwork, that are definitely a cut above what you own. They have bejeweled handles, and they seem to be razor sharp, and he's like, today only, they come with each purchase comes with a fine Corinthian leather scabbard. He's like showing you. He's definitely laying it on really thick.
May I see this particular model right here? One of the ones that you're just describing.
Yeah, of course, he says, and he takes one, and you can see that you Keith, I'm sure as a rogue you have the appraisal skill.
Yes, I do.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and give me a roll on the appraisal skill. Oh, very good. You see that the handle is it's like the guard on the rapier is very nice. You can see, yes, it is razor sharp, and it's bejeweled. It looks like it has sapphires and stuff in the pommel, but then you look at it and you notice immediately it's costume jewelry. They are truly gems. And he didn't say they were, but it looks really nice. But it isn't. But to anybody with a discerning eye like you could tell that it did not have. It doesn't have like an actual bejeweled handle, if you will. But like you said, you pick it up. It's finely balanced. And you run your finger against the blade and you get a slight little cut. You're like, wow, it is a much better weapon than the one you want. Of course, it's probably going to cost you some money, more than you have, but it's very nice.
No, how much is he asking for it?
There's no price tag on it. So
that's why I want to ask. What are you looking for this blade?
Oh, that one. I mean, you have an eye for beauty and for craftsmanship. It's like you have expensive taste, something that you should be proud of. 400 gold pieces, and you can wear it home today.
That's a bit out of my budget right now. Unfortunately, but if I come into some money, I may be back because this catches my eye quite a bit. Even though it does have costume jewelry versus real gems, I'm really hoping to acquire something with the real gems instead.
Well, he's like, real gems, of course. He's like, if you want to see something with actual, fine gold inlay and true sapphires, I do have some weapons in the back, but I don't bring the nicer items out, for public display, for security purposes.
Well, to afford these fine wares, I'm going to need to find myself a bit of work. What can you tell me about the temple down the road? I hear they can help out people down on their luck, etc. What do you know about that?
You're speaking of the Temple of Jambor.
Yes, of course.
Oh, they're doing fine work. The slums have been never. They're nothing to speak of, really. I wouldn't want to be caught there in the dead of the night, but it was much worse prior to the priestess coming to town and setting up her temple. She has found those people work. She cleans them up, teaches them good skills, and then she finds them work out of the city of Enome, and she transports them there, and they can start new lives. It's actually she's doing a great service to the city.
Do you know what these people learn and do there?
Well, I believe, for the older, I understand that, she finds them, I've heard, finds them jobs being servants in affluent families abroad. The younger ones, I understand, nannies or as, gets them trained or gets them apprenticed to blacksmiths, so that they can learn a trade.
Do they work around here? Are there any of them?
No. We have far too many people in Enome as it is. She finds them work outside of the city, and she sends them off.
So she kind of specializes in taking the downtrodden and, between you and me, less desirables.
Yes. He winks and nods at you. Yes.
And finds places elsewhere for them to be.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
All right, I appreciate the information, and I will be back once I land a nice haul on my next job.
If you're looking for work, I would suggest going to the King's Road Inn. I can only assume you are one seeking adventure.
I have some companions that we kind of specialize in dealing with problems for people, locating difficult to obtain objects, things like that.
I would strongly suggest going to the King's Road Inn then. You can't miss it. Take the west gate out of town. Travel maybe a half a mile. You'll see it. It's very prominent. Many a person with a problem that needs fixing you could find there.
Okay, well, I thank you for your time. Since I didn't purchase anything, I feel a little obligated to do something. Do you happen to have any caltrops?
He's like, caltrops. Yes, I actually do have a bag here, and he hands you, he shows you a bag of fairly just standard looking caltrops. Let me.
I'll take these.
He's like, very good, sir. And I will hold. He's like, I know you had your eye on the sword here, and he points to the one that you. I will put it aside for you for 5 days. If I'll have it for you. After that, though, of course, I will have to. If someone else asks, I'll have to sell it.
Well, I understand completely. But thank you very much for your time.
And your name, sir?
My name is Tam Glimmereye.
Tam. Tavern Diver. It is very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Tavern. So I'll go back out and find the team and give them an update of what I've learned. I'll be right back.
All right. Is there anything anybody else wants to do in the bazaar while you're there?
Yes, I'd like to find a stall that sells apples and buy 6. Are we 6 in the party? Yeah, 6 apples.
That's easy. Yeah. It costs you a silver piece for 6 apples.
Thank you. And I'll distribute
They're
one to those present
honey
with us.
crisp. They're very tasty.
Thank you. I suggest we go back and pick up the artist, the drunkard, and the curious ranger.
Lance, I don't know. You were talking earlier. I was myself and my brother are sitting across from. I'm sketching a good sketch of the temple while Ant is still on the side, keeping an eye on him and keeping an eye on the others at the bazaar, if possible.
Well, Rod journeyed back to the bazaar, but he waited outside while Tam was working his magic on the vendor, and but Grod likes to listen, and so Grod's been outside just listening to the passersby, and the hustle and the bustle of the crowd, just trying to figure out if he can hear anything about the temple or hear anything else that might interest the group or himself and Minx as well.
Okay, where will you be doing this, Grod?
So I think that I'm leaning. I'm outside in the alley or court street in front of the shop that Tam went into, but across the street, maybe just down a storefront.
Okay. Okay. You just take up a spot. You notice after a little while that people are giving you a wide berth. You're just like and then you're just kind of watching people walk back and forth, and then about maybe a half hour later, it's one of those things that everybody's had that experience where you kind of see somebody walking, and you're like, are they looking at me? And then they're not looking at me. I don't know who they are. But then you realize that no, they're looking at you and walking right at you, and a small patrol of the city guard is walking, and then you kind of look at them, and they're walking. They're walking right at you, and they get within about 5 feet or so, and one of them just looks at you and goes, "Good day to you."
Well, Grod is used to having people look at him askew. Not everybody is fans of half-orcs, and he's quite used to that, and one of the reasons why he's always cared about Minx, because Minx doesn't treat him that way.
All right.
So Grod's already got his shoulders, he tensed up a little bit, right? Because he's not sure what's going to happen here. He doesn't know this place. He doesn't know these people. Kind of looks around, kind of checks for where his traveling companions are, and just replies, "Good day."
He's like, can I ask what your business is here in the bazaar?
I'm just waiting for some friends who are shopping for some new goods that some new armor and some snacks.
Okay, he's like looks around and yeah, all I see is an orc standing in an alleyway, with with weapons and armor, and staring at people. I think you should probably get moving.
Mm-hmm.
Now.
I think we should get moving.
So
around that time, around the same time, Derek, you were like just whistling a little tune, maybe tossing an apple back and forth between your two hands, and you see Grodd just kind of like got his arm kind of shrugging his shoulders and has his hands out in front of him, and you see there's 3 city guards seeming like kind of talking rather animated to him.
Okay, I'll go over, approach Grodd, put my arm on his shoulder, and kind of indicate to back away from them, not pick a fight. Come with me.
He's like, and then the guards say, "And are you with the orc here?"
Yes, I'm really sorry for any problems here. We were just out shopping in the bazaar, and we're just on our way now.
He's like, yeah. I mean, maybe you should tell your bodyguard here to not be like hanging out in dark alleyways and staring at people. Kind of upsets people.
Oh, I apologize, but he's not my bodyguard. He's the bodyguard of a 10-foot tall ogre. So I apologize. We'll be on our way.
But the guard gets kind of a weird look in his face, and he kind of turns to the guy. Did he just say he was a bodyguard of an ogre? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they kind of stare at you.
That's how good he is.
And then he kind of wanders off, and then you can see they're having a little discussion. It's like he wasn't serious. Well, maybe he was. And you walk off into the distance. Does anybody else have anything else that they're going to do before Tam shares this information with everybody?
All right. When they walked off, did the guard close the door, or was the door still ajar in the temple?
As soon as they walked off, the guards went back inside, and you heard the door locking behind them.
All right. I'd like to listen to that other window since I'm over there still, snooping around.
All right. Let's see if your luck holds out, Sargon. Jeez, what is up? All right.
Man on a mission.
You sit there and you listen at the window a little bit, and you hear booted feet once again. They're not running; they're walking, and you in common, and you hear one of them say, you hear a voice say, "Durgan, how was I supposed to know?" And he's like, "Look, you're not supposed to know. You're supposed to come and get me if anything weird happens." It's like, God damn it. It's like we got problems as it is. So just, it's like next time, if you don't want to clean up the garbage, you don't grab a bunch of people from downstairs and bring them out there with you. He's like, it's like you knew you were out of line, and I'm telling Alon. He's like, don't tell Alon, and then you hear the footsteps kind of walk away as the two are arguing.
Mm.
Okay. All right, I make my way back to the front and gather up my dwarf friends.
You have a very fine sketch at this time, Dolgar.
Beautiful. Maybe I can show that around and ask, hey, can you tell us about this place? I'll wait till we get back to the inn.
All right. So you kind of have a central meeting spot, like close to the bazaar. All of you gather up. You share each other's stories, and what happened, and what is it that you want to do at this point?
Do we need to head to the King's Road Inn?
I think that's where we need to
find some
go.
work.
Find a mission?
Yeah, I like that.
It sounds like the temple's just abducting people and either killing them or shipping them off. Doesn't sound like there's money in that.
I don't know, it sounded like they were recruiting.
It's not always about money, Tam.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is. It's all about money.
All right, we have a problem then. It's all about money.
Well, I for one, I'm not. Did we notice any dwarfs in there, Lance? Did we when we peered in, or anybody working outside, or? Did we notice? No.
Nope. It was all human.
I'm not sure.
In fact, you haven't really seen. I mean, you actually, you guys draw more than a few glances, and especially Grodd, but just you haven't seen another dwarf in town as you're wandering around.
It's my kind of town.
Go to the bazaar. Is there any? Do I notice any? Are there any dwarven merchants in the bazaar?
Hold on. That's a really good question. You don't. However, you are told you kind of go through the bazaar and you're looking at everything like that, and you are told by a gentleman that the only dwarf they know of that lives in town of any note would be Albin, who runs the armory, and he gives you directions as to where Albin.
Is it Aldit?
Albin, Albin.
All right. I'd like to go check out the armory.
All right.
Anybody want to come with me before we on our way back to the inn?
Split the party.
Well, where is the armory in relation to the inn?
Well, it is across the river. Because remember, there's the river that goes through the middle of the town.
And across the streams.
Yeah, it's across the river and it's near the south gate. So it's quite, and it's near actually the barracks, like the city guard barracks actually. It is like from where you are right now to walk to the Black Sheep Inn, it'd be like just as far, like it's double the length, double what you want to go. Here, let me draw a really crude map for you.
And it's still the afternoon?
Yeah, it's like 3 o'clock now. But if here's the bazaar in the city, the river kind of goes through like that. The Black Sheep Inn is alongside the river here. There is a bridge here, and there's a bridge here. And then way down here is the south gate, and this is not to scale. And then the armory, the barracks is here, and the armory is here. If you wanted to go to the King's Road Inn, you'd have to exit out the west gate, which is around there, and the King's Road Inn is like right about there.
Okay, and where is the temple again? Is that the purple?
And the temple is about there.
Okay, I'm looking at the map of Enome just so I can get my bearings.
Quit looking at that.
If you guys think it's too late in the day to get down there and then get back in time before it gets too dark, we could try. We have 3 days, so we could go there the next day and go check out their wares. I'd like to see if they've got any any nice axes I could, maybe a nice hand axe I could throw. I have my battle axe that I've trained with, and maybe pick up a nice hand axe and see if I can find out any information from the dwarven brethren down there.
Well, what is your plan?
How much time we have until sundown?
Oh, you've got good 5 hours. It's spring.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
All right, so we've got plenty of time then. It's not like we couldn't get down to the armory and get back before sundown, right?
Yeah, totally.
All right, let's go see if I can talk to somebody that I can't piss off, maybe.
I'm sure you'll find a way.
I'll find a way. For a calm, genial dwarf, I seem to get into enough trouble trying to find us some fun.
All right. It takes you about maybe a 25-minute walk. You get to Albin's armory. It is very obviously an armory. You can see several bellows, black smoke being, belching into the sky. You walk in, the heat from the forge hits you immediately, and you see I forgot to ask, are you guys mountain dwarves or hill dwarves? And just mountain dwarves tend to be less friendly, if you will, more taciturn, but they have like a darker complexion to them. Hill dwarves, their skin is a little it isn't as pale, and it's and they actually have like brown and like blonde hair, whereas mountain dwarves are usually like black.
Well, I think when we wrote up our histories, I think we were more mountain dwarves. I think we kind of left from an underground city, and I was living more at the other town, whereas he came back from the city from there. And that's kind of how we wrote it up. So I would probably venture a guess that we're mountain dwarves.
Oh yeah, cool.
And I don't, mostly raised. I was mostly raised in the town we came from.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's perfect. Okay, so you come in and you notice that immediately that it is he's a mountain dwarf, and you can see that his hair is graying, and his beard is very, very lustrous, but you can see it's got streaks of gray and silver in it. And he's hard at work, hammering away at some piece of metal, trying to forge something. And there's a couple of attendants, and one of them kind of sees you as you walk in, and he approaches, and he sees, and he kind of eyes you up, and he's like, adventurers. He's like, what can I help you with?
What's the name of the city that we would be from, Lance?
Fairhill was the town.
Fairhill was the town. What about the dwarven city?
You can come up with the name. It just doesn't matter.
All right.
If you want me to give you one, I can. Here.
I'll just call it Underhelm. Is that fine?
Underhelm. Very good.
All right. A fellow mountain dwarf. I didn't expect to see a fellow person. Are you from Underhelm, like we are?
And Albin kind of like, cause there's a human attendant that approached you, but Albin kind of like when he hears mountain dwarf, he kind of pokes up, and he gets a grin on his face, and he walks over and extends a soot-covered sweaty hand, and like the cords of muscles in his arm, like very, very strong handshake he gives you.
Give him one of them. Grab by the wrist and give him one of those.
There you go. Yeah.
Back hooks.
Yeah, and
don't care about getting dirty.
He's like I'm not from Underhill, but my uncle is. And he's do you know Bragan Darkholm? And it's like, and you actually know who Bragan Darkholm is. He was he was like a blacksmith in your old home as well. So and so like and it's kind of like the small world type of thing, and you share a couple of stories and he's like, well, cousin, what can I do to help you?
I say I've been looking to upgrade on this hand axe that I had. I had this little hand axe since I was a boy back in Fairhill. A young lad. I was trying to get a better one. It looks like you can do a lot better than this one. My battle axe I've gotten from my father, and that's not going anywhere. But I could really use a better hand axe.
He's like, I don't have. He kind of looks at your hand axe. He's like, well, I mean, this is okay, but obviously I could make something way better. I don't have a masterwork hand axe right now, but I could definitely make one for you. I'd have it ready in about 6 days.
That sounds great. I'd love to have. I'd love to see your wares and see what you can do for me.
Absolutely. And it's like, and any friend of my uncle, I can definitely we can work with you on the price a little bit. He said.
Let me ask you something else. Oh, good.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Lance.
No, cousin. How can I help you?
I said, let me ask you something. We were walking by and we saw some suspicious activity by this place, and I kind of just lean over and show him the picture of the temple. I'm like, is this something that we should be worried about?
He's like, he's like, I'm not much of a temple goer myself, but I've heard some rumblings and some complaints about that place. The person you need to go and talk to, you need to go to go talk to Father Bemis Kane. He runs the small temple of. I'm sorry. Sorry, I forgot the name of the god. Aristil. He's trying to form a temple for that. As far as humans go, he's not so bad. He's got his heart in the right place. Aristil is the god, a very popular god of farming, trade, and family. And he's asked the governor to look into that temple of Jambor, and he has some concerns about it. He'd be the man you want to go talk to.
All right, we might do that. I really appreciate it. Give him a big hug, and I said, I'm going to check up on you in a few days before we head out of town. And it's well met. Do we have many more of our kind in this fair city that I should check and say hi and maybe frequent their establishment?
This is pretty much a human town. There's a few of us scattered about, but for the most part, it's pretty pure if you catch my drift.
Loud and clear. Well, I appreciate it, brother. We'll see you, cousin. I call him brother. I meant to call him cousin, but we'll see you. We'll see you very soon.
It was good. It was good to meet you. And he's like, I haven't been in the mountains for a long time. It makes me feel good to see one of my brethren. And he gives you a big hug and shakes your hand again. And he goes, I'll start working on that hand axe first thing tomorrow morning.
Sounds great. All right, so we can head back. Start heading back, and I'll converse with the group. See if do we want to head to that other talk to Father Kane.
Ingve, what do you want to do?
Well, this whole time I've just been kind of hanging out in the corner. I brought out my Stratocaster, and opened up the case and was just playing along, trying to make a little money on the side.
Do you want to be like playing your instrument with your hat on the ground? You want to do that?
Well, that's what I was doing. Yeah, that's what I was doing in front of the temple while my bro was over there was drawing it.
All right, hold on a second here.
I wonder if you can sing about that temple. If anybody will come over and try to hush us up.
If it was called Ceres, I would have the perfect song for it.
All right, you actually throughout the day as you're kind of playing and throwing your hat on the ground, you actually managed to earn 11 gold pieces in scattered change.
Bam.
As you
Well done.
There's your money, Tam.
yeah.
I don't think he's going to give me his money.
If you took the blanket off, you now don't get to have the blanket.
Does anybody else have Aristil as their deity?
I don't have a deity.
What?
Just me.
You heathen.
No, I've got Shaylin. Or
That's not what I thought you were saying.
I'm an atheist.
I think somebody, I don't know if it was Suzanne or somebody, or if it was Mink, somebody else had the same god as me.
Oh, what the heck's my day?
I have Serenade. It must be Minx.
Oh, okay.
No,
I have got Aristil, so
I've got a different one.
All right, so we're off to the Temple of Aristil, correct?
You were also suggested to go to the King's Road Inn as well if you're looking for work.
Yeah, I mean, I was assuming we would go on to King's Road, but I know that
yeah.
Dolgard, with the dwarf connection, you probably feel a stronger pull that way. But
Oh, I'm good for whatever.
I was assuming we would continue on to the King's Road Inn at this point.
Yeah. No, that's fine. We got a few days. We can check out the.
It sounds like there's more lucrative opportunities at the inn.
I'm the only one who cares for the poor people at the temple.
Which is funny for an atheist.
It's not about religion. It's about people.
Well, I mean, we could go talk to the other father and let Robin do the talking when we get to the other place. Set out there the next day, just to always give us some more outs, so to speak.
If I wanted to just do what was good for the people, I would have been a paladin.
You didn't roll good enough stats to be a paladin.
We don't have a ton of information still. I mean, we know something's going down, but we don't really have any inkling of how we can get in. So if we're still working in the town and still making connections, and perhaps if we accomplish some other tasks, we can form new connections and relationships and learn more about what's going on at the temple that may help us inform on the best course of action there later.
We can keep gathering information too, and that Father Kane might give us some more of what we need too. But we can go back to the inn and grab a nice dinner and see if we get any information or something else more lucrative.
All right. Well, I heard that you're heading to the King's Road Inn just to check it out. So I am going to teleport you there. And you leave the western gates. Nobody stops you or anything like that. You notice there is like some token guards there that just kind of watch as people come and go. Well, you inherently know they don't lock the gates unless there's trouble, so you'll be able to come back whenever and be able to get into town. As you enter, you walk. You get to the King's Road Inn, and you enter you enter it. You goes in. You can get in easy enough, and very very noisy. There's a bard or like a minstrel troupe playing a jaunty tune. Several long tables and people of all shapes and sizes sitting down. You kind of reach here just as the dinner rush, if you will, is coming. Lots of huge mugs of ale and other spirits are being passed around, and you smell something very good being cooked. You can't quite taste it. It smells kind of like spiced potatoes, perhaps, or something. And
It's the people.
you can see a large pig on a spit that is rolling, and they're carving off pieces of it and sending the food out. So, it's busy, but you could definitely find room and find a spot to sit down. I'm assuming you do.
Yep.
All right.
Can we make a perception check for the general demeanor of the people in there? If anybody's looking suspicious or
Go ahead.
otherwise.
Are we all making one, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep. Shoot.
I get +2 for evil outsiders if it matters.
Let's see what my perception is here.
Well, it's good to know I roll as badly digitally as I do in real life.
Derek, you can tell everybody's just having a good time, and this is definitely like the place to be. As far as if you want good music, good people, and
Hey, finally.
yeah, there you go. It's just Dulgar. It's like you're like this is if you drank, you probably love it even more. But it definitely is a place to be, if you will.
Hey, Lance, from the description earlier, so it sounds like as we're going through town, I mean, obviously, being a half-orc, I'm used to being, looked at. But even you were talking about Ingve and Dolgar, kind of standing out a little bit in the crowd. But then the way you described King's Road, or the inn we're now, it sounded like there was maybe a little more, more representation of the races here. Like there's a little more diversity and a little more. Like it may seem like it's more of a meeting place where people from different paths may be connecting. Or did I misinterpret that?
No, excuse me. You interpreted that quite well, actually. You definitely do see quite a few different races here, and nobody seems to really be noticing or caring, if you will. As you survey the crowd, you actually see another group of like you just assume they're adventurers, just because it isn't like normally like you see a table where guards are sitting, you see a table where farmers are sitting and stuff like that, but then you see a table where you see a human wearing what you can only assume is monk's robes sitting there. You see a half elf sitting next to him, looking dour and taciturn, and he's wearing the robes, obviously the mage would wear. And next to them is a human that you can see that he's got some sort of holy symbol, and he must be a cleric. And there's just a little weaselly looking halfling sitting with him as well. Dad just looks like he's he's got shifty eyes and looking around, and he's got a dagger in his hand. He's just kind of flipping it around his fingers and stabbing at the table every once in a while. And they're eating, and every once in a while they'll like talk and tell stories to each other, and then they'll all kind of laugh, and then they kind of they're looking around and surveying the crowd.
Are there any other orcs or half-orcs in the bar?
You do not see any.
Awesome.
Stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, I mean, when you walk in, people do kind of look over in your direction, and you're getting more than a few stares.
This other party, do they appear to be kind of like they've been through the mill a bit, or are they totally relaxed and clean and?
They look very sure of themselves, but no, I mean, you can see they got scars and dents in their armor and stuff like that.
Okay, I've got to ask, is one wearing purple, one wearing black, one wearing white, and one wearing orange? It's not kind of the cast from Waterdeep.
No.
I got it. Well, let's go get a drink and talk to the bartender. Get a lay of the land.
All right. The bartender's name is Barney, actually, of all things. and he gives you a big smile and puts on the fake friendliness, if you will, and he's like, oh, well met. He said, what can I get you? Are you thirsty? You need a meal? He's like, the special tonight is spiced potatoes and pig.
I'd like some of whatever smells so good.
That would be the spiced potatoes and pig, my little friend. Here, he's like, a plate of food that'll stick to your ribs, and a tankard of ale, 8 silver pieces.
Thank you.
He gets a plate of it and a tankard and puts it down in front of you, and he's like, and he tells a couple of people that he's like, hey, move down a few rows. Let's let these people sit up at the bar, and he gets 6 spots open for you at the bar, and he starts serving the food to you.
I'd like a nice big old bowl of those potatoes, and if you've got some nice fresh goat's milk.
He's like, I think we have some actually, because we were actually we were gonna ferment, we're gonna make some into cheese, but I can definitely see if we can pull some aside. And he yells to one of the barkeeps to go look for it, and in about 5 minutes or so, they bring a large cup of goat's milk out to you, and you're a little surprised, but it isn't room temperature. It's actually quite cold.
Excellent. Thanks a lot. I pay the tab and go sit and find a good place to watch my brother do his bardic thing.
All right, are you going to try to play your music there?
I was actually going to ask the bartender. I said, look, I know you don't have any live music, but you have like a small stage over there in the corner. You mind if for the meal I'm getting ready to eat and the stuff I'm getting ready to drink, you mind if I go over there and play for a little bit?
I hate to bring this up to you there, Marty, but I actually said there was a small minstrel group that was playing.
Oh.
Yeah. So yes, there is a small group of 3 minstrels. One on a lute, and another has a set of drums in front of him that he's playing with his hands, and a third one is a woman is dancing about and singing. So.
All right. I like to approach them and see if they wouldn't mind if I sat in with them for a little bit.
They kind of, I'm sure you wait politely until they're, in mid, after they get done with a song. I'm assuming, not like you just jump up on the stage.
You're in.
And why don't you go ahead and roll a diplomacy check? See if you can sweet talk your way into having them join you, or them letting you join them.
Sounds good.
Anytime.
That's what it was. I couldn't remember. Oh, that's awesome.
And the music is kind of stopped, and people are watching you talk, and the woman, she's actually elvish. She's an elf, and she kind of looks at you and says, it's like, oh, thank you so much for the offer. I really appreciate it, but I think we're fine, though. But here, you can have this spot over here, and you can sit and watch us.
That's all right. You guys suck anyway.
I give a good hearty laugh and say, "Come on over here, brother. I'll get you around, and I'll get him a big beer."
You want me to go over and intimidate them into letting you join their invade? Just stand over and glare and breathe on them.
Battle of the bands. Let's go.
That's all right. They're playing bad covers as it is. So.
Yeah.
Lance,
all right. Yeah. What's up?
Can I just watch that other party that looks raggedly messed up, beat up?
Yeah.
Are they during the course of their meal? Are they joking or anything? Or they're still very solemn? Or
well, I mean, you kind of get the impression that they're telling a lot of jokes that only they're getting. You know,
Okay.
like just like, and they're pointing out at people and they're laughing at other people's, just kind of like, and they just look like a rough and tumble group. And actually,
Okay.
as you're watching, you watch as this woman, this woman that looks like if desperation had an appearance, this woman would be it. And she actually walks up to them, and she's like starts talking to the half elf, and you see him rolling his eyes, and he's just like and like a couple other ones, the monk and the cleric laugh a bit, and the halfling is just like has like a very angry smile on his face, and she kind of gets halfway through whatever she's saying, and he slaps his hand down on the table, and he kind of like says something pretty loudly to her, and you can see like the tears start to come, and she starts and she like she backs away from the table and starts scanning the crowd.
But I couldn't make out what he said, though. Correct?
No, it was like the noise and everything about in the tavern. It's like, but he didn't. It didn't look like he was saying anything nice.
She sounds like somebody who might have a tale to tell and an adventure to go on.
She has a big question mark over her head. No, I'm sorry, an exclamation point over her head.
Nice.
I'm gonna go over and talk to her.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll join them.
Yeah, that's not. Rod can't approach a poor, like, crying woman. It'll scare the crap out of her.
I'll join Sargon.
I'll
right.
sit at the table and eat.
I'm gonna eat.
She's scanning the crowd, and she sees you walk over to you, and you see, and she's like, "Oh my!" It's like, "Oh, thank goodness! Somebody I can talk to." And she approaches you, and she said, "My name is Penelope. My husband's name is Fenton. He's gone missing. I need somebody to track him down."
Since when did he go missing?
He's been missing for over a month. He left with three of his friends. He was an adventurer. He was a sorcerer. He left with three of his adventuring friends, and they went to the orc caves to the north. And I haven't seen him for a month. And I fear the worst. I mean, everybody says he's given up for dead, and she kind of like gets this weird look in her eyes. And she goes, "I know this is going to sound silly, but," she's like, "I have visions, and I know he's alive. I've seen him. I've seen him in my dreams. I know he's alive. He's somewhere very cold and very dark, and he's very scared, but he's alive. I need somebody to go and find him."
What about his three friends? Did they come back?
I don't know. No, none of them have been seen. It's just like, I don't know anything about the other three, but I don't. This sounds horrible. I don't care about them, but I need you to find him.
And where are these caves? How far?
Everybody says the caves are to the north, and in the hills to the north, past the Fool's Pass. I don't know where they are. I don't have a map. I'm sorry, but I mean, it's like I know there's other adventurers who've gone there, and she like points over at the other table where they've gone there. I know if you went and asked them, they could tell you where to find them.
Where can we find this woman again? If we not today, but another day. Can we get her?
No, well, you just ask her. Where you just say
like
where.
To know, okay, maybe we can try and find your husband, but we need a few more details.
Oh my goodness! Really, you look for him? You promise?
No promises, because we need a member of our party who's
I have gold.
away on a mission.
I sold everything that I own. I sold all this. I have 50 gold pieces. If you can bring him back, you can have it all.
But you say he's a sorcerer?
He's a sorcerer. He's alive. I know it.
All right. Well, we're making her no promises, right? But we're going to tell her if we can find out. We'll see what we can do.
And when you say there's no promises, you watch as she becomes crestfallen. You're just like everyone else. No one's going to look for him. You need to find him. He's alive. And you hear like laughter, and you look over and the party that must have said something. They're looking in your direction and laughing at you.
Can we kind of beckon to Grod to come over with us, and then we approach the other table, maybe?
Oh, this can't be good. We can't do this without Minx.
How many of them are in this party?
There are 4 of them.
All right.
It's 4, and they're in deep water.
Yeah, I mean, Grodd'll stand up and
just as intimidation.
And wipe his mouth and push back from his chair and kind of amble up to Derek. And what do you need?
I have Rod, and I have Derek, and what are the rest of you doing?
I'm there.
I'm eating.
All right. Dolgar, Tam is eating.
When I see Grod get up, I come right behind him.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So everyone but Tam, that's my understanding, walks over to this group, and they all watch you walk up towards them, and they don't look like they're scared of you at all. They're just like whatever. And
hey, can I grab a beer on my way over there to set it down in front of one of them, just so we don't look so threatening? So we don't look so threatening to them.
You can definitely snag a beer if you will.
You're standing behind Grod, and they can't even see you.
That's true. I'm probably by his, tall enough just to be able to see between his legs and peer out from back there with a big old axe on my back.
All right. You approach the table, and you catch the half elf say something in Elvish to the cleric.
Oh, I speak Elvish.
Okay. He says in Elvish. He's like the druid needed his boyfriend to come over, or else he wouldn't have approached us. And then then he and the cleric laugh, and he's like, and then he gives you the half elf gives you the best Johnny Lawrence look from Karate Kid, just like bemused, a-hole. He's like, hey guys, what's going on?
So I sit. So we've got the half elf. So we got the half elf, the cleric.
So I say, wait. Before this, I say to him,
good.
I said, and which of us is the boyfriend?
He goes, well, I don't know. He's like, which one to use the top?
So I slapped the beer down in front of the one that hasn't said anything yet, and I slapped the beer down, sit next to him, and say, so tell me, how crazy is this Penelope lady?
And that would probably the only one who hasn't really talked. Well, both the monk and the half elf haven't said anything. So you can take your pick which one you want to put it down in front of you.
Well, I'm not going to give a beer to the monk.
All right.
Wait, hold on. Let's back up a minute. How do you even know what her name is? You didn't go over and talk to her.
What's that?
You said, how crazy is this Penelope lady? You didn't even know what her name is. You were at the bar when we were talking.
I was listening to you guys. You guys were. She was crying so loud it couldn't help but hear.
That's fine. We can just assume. And so you put it down in front of this little tiny nasty-looking halfling. He just looks like trouble. And he actually he has this weird intake of breath, and he's like I don't need your drink, and he just tips it over on the table, and you watch as it pours out onto the floor.
We're about to get into a bar fight. I have this feeling.
All right, so can I go back to the elf, the half-elf guy,
Yeah.
since he's a wise ass, and say, are you afraid of going to the orc caves?
I'm not afraid of that place at all. I'm not an errand boy.
Oh, you don't have to be an errand boy. Just you've been there.
He's like,
You've
yeah,
been
but
there,
I
what
don't.
did you see?
Yeah, it's like I don't help crazy old ladies who think they see things in the dark. He's like, I'm not. It's like, if I find him, great. You know what? Then I'll collect the 50 gold from him then. But I'm not
So
gonna.
why did you go to the caves?
He's like, why does anybody go on an adventure? He's like, it's like, how do you think we paid for this meal? How do you think we paid for these these weapons and armor that we're wearing? He's like, they weren't free. We took them from the things that were in there.
So you saw nobody else
left alive in there?
I'm sorry, Robin, Derek, you go first.
We both asked the same question, basically.
What?
There's nobody else alive in there.
He's like, you know what? It's just like if you're looking for free information, you can go bark up another tree. He's like, why don't you go wander around up in the hills, see what you find.
It's not free information. We just reckon that Groot here is stronger than all of you combined.
He's like, well, if you're going to draw a weapon in Kings, you won't ever be asked to be brought back here again. So, it's like, if you want to make trouble, feel free. I otherwise, take your pets.
We wish to issue a challenge. Not a bar fight, a challenge.
And I figure after
Penelope's husband back to her before you do.
Nice.
Oh, really? And what's at stake?
Well, I've still got one apple left over.
Nice.
Yum.
Honor, of course. What more does an adventurer have than honor?
How about we put some money on this?
Yeah, well, how about the 50 gold coins that she's trying to pay? Whoever gets it first gets it.
No,
Well,
we need more than that.
No.
How much did we have left over at the end of the last?
Why is
don't
Derek
have
giving
enough.
away our money?
That's our beer money. Or I'm sorry, that's Marty's beer money.
The half elf who you learn through conversation and hearing them talk amongst each other. His name is Dagon. Dagon. Dagon says, I got 250 gold pieces. Says we can find that worthless piece of crap before you can.
Okay, so turn to the rest of the group, ask through eye language and body language. Who's interested? 250, what's it worth? Is it worth the bet?
More than
Sounds
likely,
not
if I don't kill him first, then I'd be happy to take this bet. But we have to we're going to spot him a 2-day head start with Minx doing her thing.
Well, the thing is, they've already been down there, so they know the lay of the land. But on the other hand, they've just been there, so they might not want to go straight away. So we might be able to get a head start on them through that.
And we could have our halfling track them a bit.
Does anybody have a healing skill? I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sure
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Make a healing skill check.
One moment, please.
Should I make one mine in the meantime?
Yeah, go ahead. Holy cow! These guys.
Yeah. Gonna heal the heck out of you.
All right, Grodd, you're eyeing him up and down. Just like you're wondering whether or not you're gonna have to teach these fools a lesson. And you notice that both the cleric and and the monk have fresh wounds, and and the monk seems to be like favoring favoring one side. He's like kind of leaning one way, and that means he might have some cracked ribs or something, and so you think it's going to be a day or two at least before they're going to leave town. And the cleric's probably got to get some healing spells and heal them back up to and get them up and running, and then another day or whatever to get their stuff together as well. So if you left now, you'd probably have a head start on.
All right. Well, Grodd's not going to go anywhere without Minx. I mean, staying in the village is one thing, but Grodd will not adventure off, leave Minx with Merrick, and not let her get the adventure in. So that's.
Well, if we adjourn here, Minx would be with us the next time when we go to head off.
Yeah. How long does it take to get to the caves?
That it would take you walking without any mount or anything. It would take you the better part of a day to get to the hills, and then finding the caves is another thing.
Okay.
Would Merrick know where the caves are?
He might. He mentioned it on the way up, and he's like, I hear tell up there that's where the orc caves are. Plus, as I said, there in the fairly recent history, the Duke did send a group of soldiers to clear out the orc caves, and if you were able to find a book on history or something like that, you might be able to find some information and be able to locate it that way. Plus, if there's any kind of a historian in town, or people talk about the orc caves quite a bit.
So we have to go back and get Minx anyway, so we can get more information out of Merrick or any of his compatriots or anybody he has influence over as well.
And likewise, we can go back and talk to the lady some more. Try to get as many details as we can about who we're looking for.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. So, I know that a couple of you with daylight savings time and everything like that, nice. We're probably going to wrap up here. So just I'm going to give everybody for the role playing, and we didn't have any fights or anything, but that's not everything. So I'm going to give everybody 250 experience points for the role playing and for adventuring in the town and having some good interactions and actually pretty good investigation on you guys' parts as well. So just recap, you have a mission to find Fenton, who is supposedly alive and is still within the orc caves. You have the temple in town that you're wondering what the heck's going on with that. You still have the haunted forest / bandits in the forest that you're thinking about looking into.
Bandits have
and so there you go. So you have some options available to you. You guys can discuss those before we play again.
Yeah,
cool.
We need to discuss it between sessions.
Hey, where in Hero Lab do we put the experience in? I still have the 200 from the last time.
Click your journal tab.
Journal chat. Okay.
And under Adventures Journal, you'll see a spot that says
add XP.
Add
okay.
XP. And if you gain money, just put it in the proper coins and hit earn. If you spend money, what I did was just put negative money and hit earn, and that took care of it.
Did we earn money last time?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, 50 gold pieces.
Yeah.
It was 5 platinum and 13 gold pieces we took from goblins.
Well, you have all the goblin money.
Yeah.
Robin.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys agree though that Marty's screen with the little doors in the background, it does look like he's on some patio at a retirement home where they just wheel him in.
We just can't go one session without it being said, can we?
It just that's what it looks like. It's like, oh, I'm in the solarium. Just like I keep waiting for some guy in a robe to shuffle past you in the background.
And he's probably 2 years older than us.
I know.
I just figured Marty living down in Charlotte, he's probably going to mention this is probably like the pool house that he plays in out back. He's got an
I
extra
suppose,
place.
Please.
All right, Lance. Before we go, can before we go, leave the tavern, leave the inn to go back to where we're staying and pick up Minx.
Yeah.
Is Penelope still around? Obviously, somewhere.
Yeah, she seems heartbroken that she won't promise.
All right, I'm gonna go walk over to her and just tell her that if her husband's alive, someone will bring him back. Either us or those fools that laughed at you.
And she's like, she looks at you and she kind of like her eyes narrow a bit and she says, "Don't trust them. I've had dreams about them. They are not to be trusted." You know.
Well, we don't intend on losing this bet.
She's like, I don't know what to say. I mean, she's like, I can't believe you. Just please find him. Every day that goes by is another day that he might lose his life.
No, if he's alive, he'll come home to you.
And she she tears of joy almost come to her eyes, and she wipes them away, and she says, "I will." It's like I will tell everyone how kind you are. And she leaves the tavern.
And everyone cheers because she's not bothering them.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, we'll end the session. Sounds like next time we play, we're going to get to the dungeon. So that'll be exciting.
Sweet.
Cool. Great job. That was some fun RP.
Yeah. So thanks everybody for being here. I don't know. Let's just shoot for. Well, my plan was to play once a month. So, but this is early March, so maybe we can play in late March or something. We can figure out a time to do it.
Okay.
That's great.
And this time worked really well for everybody. Kind of starting 9:30. I know Mr. British, he has to kind of stay up late and what have you, but.
Yeah,
you
works great for me.
Yeah, and next time, maybe now we know how to get everything set up, we can start like within 5-10 minutes once we get on.
Yeah,
Yes.
if we make a note of how we have this set up, where we are all in Google and we shut everything off and roll D20.
Yep.
It seemed to work really well. So.
Yeah.
Or
We should get started easier.
I'll even take the camera off here. Maybe I can actually see me. Here, I'll stop screen sharing so you actually can see my beautiful face.
Looking forward to seeing that. Such a beautiful face. Such a beautiful face.
It's just like watching Dungeons and Dragons when the little GM guy turns up at the end of it.
Dungeon
My favorite
Master.
episode of that was the one where he gives Eric the powers of the Dungeon Master, so he learns that he can't just do whatever. And did you know that they actually had a big background storyline for the D&D, and that they never were able to finalize it, but they gave hints at it. Venger is actually Dungeon Master's son.
Really?
There's one episode where he mentions it, where like they're fighting and Venger like has to recognize the fact that he's kind of a jerk, and he's like, and Dungeon Master says, it's like, it's time to go home, so there you go. The DVD.
Then the ones who just only have a shield.
The Cavalier.
Yeah, that's
Cavalier only had a shield. Yeah.
Just a shield.
That guy there.
Yeah. Couldn't you give me at least a dagger? Or a stick like the barbarian had?
Yeah, it was
All right,
pretty sad.
everybody.
All right, peeps. Was fun.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Have a good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.